I put some lotion in my hair so it's not so frizzy. Mm-hmm. It'll look good.
Back away. Yeah, away.
So hi, good afternoon, and what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights with Universal Studios Orlando. That is the Halloween Horror Nights that I've been to, and now there is another one in California, but I haven't gotten to go there. So I don't feel like I'd be the best person to give you advice on that, although I think they're pretty similar, so take that for what you will. Okay, so a little disclaimer is basically I don't work for Universal. This is information I've gathered through listening to other YouTubers because I'm literally obsessed with this event. It is amazing. And also because I've been to the event, a whole one time. But I did my research then. I've been doing my research since the day I got back from it, and here we are. So what is Halloween Horror Nights? So Halloween Horror Nights is an event put on by Universal Studios Orlando, which is, again, they do it in California, but I'm talking about Orlando. And it's put on typically between early September all the way up until Halloween. So this year will be the 31st year that Universal is holding the event. So I just feel like, October 31st, Halloween Horror Nights 31, I'm praying that's like a reason for them to celebrate. So, but last year was 30 years of 30 fears. Yeah, I think I said that right. So anyway, what is Halloween Horror Nights? I know you want to know, or you wouldn't have been, I think you want to know. Anyway, so Halloween Horror Nights, typically at Universal Studios, what they've done in the past is, so Universal in Orlando has two parks. They have Islands of Adventure and they have Universal Studios. Universal Studios is typically where they hold the event, so not in both parks. It's only in one park. And the other park, now they have had it there before, and way back in December, seems like so long ago, way back in December, it was kind of up in the air if they could maybe do something at the other park again this year, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's just go ahead and move forward with the assumption Halloween Horror Nights is probably going to be only in Universal Studios, so only that park. So how does it work? So let's say you're on vacation and you've gone to Universal Studios and you want to go to Halloween Horror Nights and you're like, I have a ticket for the park during the day. Well, it really stinks, but you have to buy a separate ticket for the event. It's a separate event. That said, it's 100%, 300%, I don't know what number, but it's way worth the experience if you like haunted houses and things like that. So when my husband and I went last year, again, I had kind of done my research. I was so excited to go, and we even tried to go when COVID happened. So we'd already kind of had plans. So I've been looking into this event for over a year. And what it basically is you have 10 haunted houses put on by Universal Studios. And it's not just some haunted house, because I live in a small town, and not that our haunted houses aren't fantastic, because they scare me too. I act like a fool in those as well. But Universal Studios, it's like you're on a movie set. And okay, so they last year they had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, which I know that they've done that in the past, but it was my first year to go. So it is one of my favorite scary movies, which this is from Halloween Horror Nights, by the way. So one of my favorite scary movies, and I could smell it smelled like a pig farm. They had, well, obviously that sounds of the haunted house, but they had the sounds and the smells, and then the set design is absolutely, I didn't silence my computer, so it's my bad. I'm not editing this out. I don't have the time. So they had the sounds, everything, but the set designs are so crazy. It's just so cool. You feel like you're in that movie. So last year they had the 10 houses. Then they also have scare zones when you go to Halloween Horror Nights. So the scare zones were one of my favorite things because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm a genuine fool when I go through haunted houses, and it's not to be funny. I just am easily scared. That's why I like this stuff. And I enjoy being scared. It's not like I hate it. Like I laugh through like I scream and then I act silly and then I laugh through the fear. But the scare zones were my favorite because I would go through these amazing haunted houses and I would see really awesome set designs, which please know that I am not saying these haunted houses. This is just how much I love the scare zones. But so I'm going through these houses and I'm scared and whatever, but I'm like jumping on the floor and like throwing myself against the wall and being corrected to get back on the path or whatever, you know, whatever the normal people do when they're scared. But so I didn't always get to like fully take in every single scary house, but those scare zones, I went back and forth through them. It was like a haunted house every time I went through a scare zone. So last year they had 3 scare zones. So scare zones are kind of scattered throughout the park and they're themed. So they had a seek and destroy scare zone last year. I'm sorry, I loved it. Some people didn't, but again, I get easily scared, so it was fantastic to me. But it was almost like galactic, like there were people in space suits and they were walking around with their guns. You know, it's kind of like a scary version of Star Wars, which I think Star Wars is a little scary sometimes. But anyway, so they were walking around and they're like, I don't know, and they're creepy looking and they kind of come up on you with a loud, like, you know, their voice changer in their headphone. It's just so cool. And then you went on to another scare zone and they had Crib TV. No, wait, hold on. I can't remember the name. Crypt TV, not Crib. Crypt TV. My son loves that show because he was so mad that we went without him and they had a Crypt TV scare zone. That terrified me. That terrified me as well. And then they had like a haunted forest where these little like, they looked like gerbils to me, but they were scary. These little like woodland creatures would run out at you. It's just like before you turn around. Oh, they had 4 last year. They also had like, gosh, I cannot remember the name of the 4th one, but it was like there were chainsaws in it. It was just absolutely terrifying to me. And this was in the daylight, by the way. We were outside, a million people around. It was scary. It's just awesome. Okay, so Halloween Horror Nights. So how do you go? So to get to these 10 haunted houses and then these scare zones, again, it's all inside the Universal Studios theme park. And again, we're talking Orlando. So you go during the day. Let's say you're on vacation. You're going with your family to the theme parks. So around 5 o'clock, they're going to start, the theme park's going to close, lack of better words. They're going to close. So if you had a daytime ticket and you don't have a Halloween Horror Nights ticket, you got to go. You're out. You're kicked out. Now you can go over to Islands of Adventure. It's going to still be open most likely, but you got to get out of Universal Studios so they can get in their whole rush of the Horror Nights fans, HHN fans. I'm going to call it HHN. So from here on out, no, I'll probably mess that up, but so anyway, around 6 p.m., you're getting ready to flood the gates and take that little ticket you got and get in and get scared. And it's just, there's music and smoke and there is no lack of performer. Like there are, I'm going to call them actors, but scary monster actors, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. There is no like stone left unturned when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights. They, from like demon belly dancers they had last year to those scare zones. So you got to buy a separate ticket for this event, which starts again at 6 p.m. It's going to end really, really late. I cannot remember if it's midnight or 1, so check that before you go. It's probably important to know. And I'm sorry I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I'm just winging this. So anyway, so when you get in there, you have a couple options. So one, which by the way, you're going to want to download the Universal theme park app because that is going to give you the wait time for the approximate wait time for each haunted house. But you can purchase other things while after purchasing this event ticket, because you got to have an event ticket to get in. Doesn't matter what tour you're doing or what express pass you have to have that event ticket. So when you get in though, let's say you want to get an express pass, which you can buy beforehand and they're going to be cheaper the sooner you buy them. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The closer to the event or the night of the event, they're going to be way more than if you would have bought them online the second you decided you were going, if you think you're going to want an express pass. So by the way, to get into the event is probably a little over $70. And then they have peak nights. Peak nights are typically like a Friday or a Saturday, and then closer to the event, the more being the closer to Halloween, the more expensive your ticket's going to be. Same exact situation with those express passes. So let's say you get into the park and you're looking at your app and you're like on your phone, the Universal app. It's going to give you the wait times for all 10 of those haunted houses. But let's say you decide you don't want to wait, so you want to go buy an express pass. There is a good chance, especially on the peak nights, so Fridays, Saturdays, and the closer you get to Halloween, those express passes can sell out and they're going to cost you more. So buy them in advance. I'm just saying, buy your express pass in advance if you really want to get through most, if not all, the haunted houses. But the express pass isn't going to guarantee if you're only going one night to the event. So I'm coming from out of state, so I don't get like unlimited nights to go to the event. So what I needed to do with my husband, because we only had one night to go, is we got the RIP tour. Now there's two options for this. There's RIP tour and then there's private RIP tour. Now supposedly the private RIP tour can be like $5,000. That's not what we did. No. But y'all can call if you want to find out about that. But we just did the regular RIP tour. Now those aren't cheap, but you are guaranteed to get through all 10 of the houses. And then also, Halloween Horror Nights typically puts on a show or two. So a show like it's just a show, but scary themed. And so it guarantees you some really good seats for the show, and then also to get through all those haunted houses. Now you get a tour guide when you do the RIP tour. I'm pushing the RIP tour, I'll tell you right now. Because again, I'm coming from out of state. I want to get through all the haunted houses. We did our tour at like 8:30 in the evening. So it gave us time to go through all the scare zones, kind of enjoy the event on our own, because we got there at 6. But then we met up at Cafe La Bamba, I believe is the name. And they would give you all this information if you do an RIP tour. But they were like, hey, you're going to go with, I can't remember her name, and I wish I could because she was awesome. But Jolene, we'll call her Jolene. There's a Dolly Parton song. So we met up with Jolene. She had a little green stick that lit up, and she's like, you're going to follow me through all these haunted houses. I'm going to tell you about all the haunted houses. And then you see that little express lane? We're going to go right in front of that express lane. We're going to walk right in that haunted house. And that's exactly what we did. You want to do the RIP tour. If you just budget for it or look it up. Now they're limited on the RIP tour. So we almost didn't even get tickets. Like I was told they were sold out, and then I got online and happened to like look around long enough to find some. But yeah, we went through all the haunted houses. They also took time to take us back through the scare zones, which again, I told you were like my favorite. And then the last thing that we did was watch the show with one of the best seats. Like in that show, okay, last year, I don't know what they're doing this year. I have no idea. Nightmare Fuel was the name of it. There's some magic going on there. I don't know. You can watch a video on YouTube, but like it's supposed to be this guy, he climbed in the bed and then he's gonna have a nightmare. The guy got in the bed and 3 seconds later a girl popped out, and I have spent a long time trying to figure out how she did that. And I looked at that bed, it's not like she was hiding under one side of the covers and he was, I don't know how that happened. Anyway, the show was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm just saying. What else do I want to tell you guys about? Okay, so I definitely would recommend the RIP tour if you can afford it. Now, I know it's expensive. It was just my husband and I last year. We're going to go again this year for sure. Now, I will tell you this, that they put on the website, and I fully support this. And we're a family that watches scary movies, and we are a family who loves our haunted house. Like we go every year. It's an annual thing to all these, not HHN. I've only been once with my husband, but like our local haunted houses and up to the bigger cities to haunted houses. And it's just our thing. Like we just have a really great time doing it together. And they put on here that the event is for ages 13 and up. I can totally, absolutely support that. I am going to take my 15, almost 16-year-old, her best friend, and I think we're going to take our 11-year-old, but I know my 11-year-old, and I know he can get through a haunted house. We're not taking our younger 3 kids, like the 10-year-olds and the 7-year-old. They will not, ain't gonna happen. So, but I would totally follow that. And if your kid has been through a haunted house and you see how they did, I would use that. But there's also some kind of like adult content. Like there's some belly dancers, and now some people may not find that to be adult content, or like the Nightmare Fuel show. There is a lot of leather in that. So teach his own, teach his own. There's no judgment here, but I'm just trying to give you all the facts so you can do what works best for you and your family. What else can I tell you guys? So around Halloween Horror Nights, it's so much fun because they have so many like little food carts with everything from like crazy twisty potato fries with the coolest names, you know, they've come up with some clever name, to, oh gosh, what else? Oh, the drinks are really cool, you know, like eyeball slug green water drink, you know, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. Anyway. Oh, okay, so if you buy your tickets, I wish I wasn't scratching my eyeball right now, but it's itching. Let's say you buy your tickets and you want to know about what haunted houses they're going to have. So they do typically have 10 haunted houses. Now, they tend to follow a theme as far as what all they bring. So like the last several years, I feel like they brought something epic from Netflix. So they've had The Haunting of Hill House. They've had Stranger Things, I think twice now. And Stranger Things, so I'm just going to talk about this right now. Stranger Things is on a speculation map. So there is a speculation map that is out, and I'm going to link their Instagram page so you guys can, or their Twitter page, whatever I can find, so you guys can see the speculation map. But basically they're guessing. It's speculation till it's fact. And right now, the Netflix property that their Universal is going to work with looks like they're going to do Stranger Things. And I really wanted them to do Fear Street. I love the Fear Street movies, that 3-part, we'll call it a trilogy, I don't know. I really wanted them to do that, but they're not doing that as far as the speculation map is concerned. They do original houses, so stuff they've made up. They do monster houses. They do, again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween. They do movie houses. It's just so cool. And they, again, I've said this before earlier. I've said it before. But they go all out. It's amazing. So, also, HHN just released on their Instagram one of their first kind of like teases for their houses. So you need to go look at their Instagram, and I'm gonna tag that too. It's Halloween Nights ORL. Oh god, I hope we're telling. I'll tag it. But yeah, they just released like a little trailer commercial for it today or yesterday. I don't know. I've been watching because they've been playing with us, people who care. There was a black picture on there. It was just black, and it was like, I'm going dark till I want to tell you something. And it stayed like that for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, I can't take this. I need to know. I need to know what kind of haunted house I'm going to. I'm trying to think if there's any other haunted houses that really like are on this. Oh, they're gonna do a Weekend house. That's speculation too, but the Weekend, like the singer. So I haven't been to like a themed music person house ever. And they were going to do Billie Eilish like several years ago, but COVID happened. And then now they've decided to team up with The Weeknd. So I'm excited. He's not like my favorite artist, but I think he is, I shouldn't say that. He's so talented. I think he has an awesome voice. So anyway, I'm rambling now. So Halloween Horror Nights. If you go, stay at a Universal property. Stay at a Universal property. Do you have to do that? No. Is it the most budget friendly thing to do? Depends on which one you stay at. We like to stay at a premier resort. Now they are more expensive, but during the day we get fast passes to the theme parks before the event starts if you stay at one of their 3 premier resorts. But it's within walking distance. It's within walking distance if you want to have some of those really cool alcoholic like Halloween Horror Night drinks I was talking about. You can walk back to your hotel. You can ride a shuttle. It's super safe. So I always stay on property when I go to Universal. So anyway, I hope that I have helped you guys decide some of the, I hope y'all figuring it out. I hope you guys are going to figure it out, and let me know if you have any questions, because I really do want to help you guys. I want to encourage people to go to this event because it is so much fun. If you like haunted houses, you are going to miss out until you do this. There you go. Oh, and you need to get a t-shirt made by my friend Trish, because she always makes my Halloween shirts. So anyway, you guys have the best day. start looking at those prices. Oh, do you want to know the prices for the tickets, by the way? Typically, event tickets start at a little over $70. Express passes over $80. These go up closer to Halloween. And then RIP tour tickets, typically about $250. I'm gonna be real with you. $250. They go up in price. And then those private tours, that's a lot of money. Bye.